challenges in Bayelsa State, perhaps through a multifaceted approach, involving several stakeholders. But yeah, let's introduce our guest today. We have the Police Public Relations Officer, Bayelsa State Police Command. He is DSP Musa Mohammed. It's good to have you. Welcome.
Oh, thank you very much,
welcome,
Mr.
sir.
Harry. And I of Yentown. Thank you for having me on your platform this afternoon.
It's our delight, an absolute delight, as a matter of fact. So let's start with what you think would be the primary drivers of insecurity in Bayelsa State. Let's start with pointing these things out and perhaps going over them to understand how we can tackle these issues. But what would you point out as the primary drivers of insecurity in Bayelsa State?
Thank you once again. It's a great honor to be on your platform this afternoon to discuss security in Bayelsa State. And to start with, some of the drivers, as you've asked me earlier, to insecurity in Bayelsa State. Of course, we all know that poor upbringing is one of the challenges of insecurity in Bayelsa State. And we are lucky that as Ijo that we are, Ijo are peace-loving people, and we advocate for love, and we advocate for proper and good upbringing of children to ensure that our society is being moderated, and to also reduce the workload of the law enforcement agencies. You know, when a child has a proper upbringing and he or she is being taught of the dangers and consequences of crimes, you see, they begin to be self-aware of their first environment and what is crime. Because some people, they may commit an offense, and ignorantly they wouldn't know if this is a crime or not. But with the help of proper upbringing, it will help to moderate our society that we are today.
Okay, is that totally on the parents now, or would you want to add something else in the upbringing, or you're resting these onus squarely on the parents?
You know, there are several factors that could be attributed to insecurity. We also have there are lots of them to mention. Well, just like to just talk about
cultism. Cultism.
You know, cultism starts from somewhere. Yeah? It starts from somewhere. That's why we always say family is the grassroots of every child, because everybody comes from a family, and that family belongs to a community. So it all starts from the family. Okay. If the family is being rooted properly, I don't think we'll have so much challenges that we are facing in our society today.
Yeah. Now, when you talk about people not knowing, or those who are brought up not knowing that certain things they do is law, where does this onus lie? Could we say the parents totally? Because many would also argue that many parents also do not know. I mean, let's use the Yahoo menace, for instance. Many parents, I hear, I was on a tricycle one other time, and I had a father say, he wanted to give birth to a Yahoo boy who could bring money for him. Well, there was this argument between, is it Yahoo, is he a boy or a girl you'd want to give birth to? And the next thing he said is, a boy, of course, a Yahoo boy will go also for me. So it's already in their thinking that Yahoo, okay, let me put it this way, it is becoming right to do Yahoo.
You see,
the wrong is becoming right.
That is what we see in our society today. And just to add to some of the drivers of insecurity, which is unemployment, when the majority is faced with unemployment, it becomes another threat to security. So it is so sad to see parents of these days would encourage their children. Some even buy gadgets, accessories for their children to go into this cybercrime. And they don't know the consequences of this. It is not all about either maybe the child defraud people and use the proceeds as wealth. It doesn't end there. it goes further to other things. You know, it is not as easy as they say. Before you know, the child will begin to go into what we call rituals. You see,
what they call plus up, right?
Yeah, some call it Yahoo Plus. It's so surprising. So it's beyond even what they call Yahoo something. If only the parents are educated, enlightened about some of the consequences of this. And they should also not forget, even them themselves can even be a victim of
parents, right?
Yeah, parents can also be a victim of these cybercrime. And I encourage young people, because most especially the young people of this generation are so much involved in these cybercrime acts. I encourage them, instead of using your energy to go into cybercrime, why not use it to learn tech skills? There are so much opportunities in the tech environment.
But is it as paying as the Yahoo?
It is, but the major problem is the patience.
Right.
Many young people lack patience. They are so eager to get it quick right now. They are not ready to go through the process anymore. So it becomes a very big problem. If only they have the patience, and parents also take their responsibility as parents to train these children in the way they should be trained. Yeah, I don't believe any child should be more superior than their parents.
Let me come in this way before I allow Ayo to continue with this is of patience. The parents you've rightly mentioned will be responsible for the upbringing of these children, and because that upbringing is poor, we also see a lot of children who are going into, things that could lead to insecurity, in Bayelsa State, and we could also broaden it to include Nigeria. Right. But the parents, we've also identified here that there is a character problem. So it is very possible also that, the parents think that doing the Yahoo thing is right. Parents think that, or they are rather indifferent about their children going to do vandalism or going into cultism.
Not like
there's a character problem here now. Do we still hold the parents and say you have to train your children right when themselves have a character problem? A Yahoo boy will born Peking go pushing Peking to do Yahoo, no?
There's a popular saying that goat no dey born dog. Of course, that's one too is something that we should also look at. And also, it is a responsibility, I will always say it, now to tomorrow, I will always tell us, it is a responsibility of every parent to train their child in a very proper manner, so that they won't grow up to become menace in our society. Many of these unrest that we are experiencing today is as a result of poor parenting. We shouldn't sugarcoat whatever word or trying to cover up for anything. It is the problem of our parents. It is sad to say again that most children these days have outgrown their parents. In my family, you won't even dare to even look at in our house. Our parents talk to us with eyes. These days it is no more as such. So it is very important that parents own up responsibility in bringing up their children in a very proper manner.
So talking about Yahoo, we were talking about crime and Yahoo also. So there is a saying, and there is also some talks around that this Yahoo is a crime.
Yes,
it's a crime. But there is a saying that this Yahoo per se has helped the police to also bring down some levels of crime. So what will you say about that? Because when you look back, before this time, there's a lot of courtism, killings and all that, but eventually we see that these stuffs are now
dropping.
They are dropping. And when you check, you see that the boys that are actually doing those things, they are now into this Yahoo, and they are more concerned about making money instead of going to steal, going to rob or do their courtism game. So what will you say about this saying or talk per se that people are saying that this crime, which is the Yahoo, has also helped the police in bringing down crime levels in the society?
Yeah, first of all, to start with, Yahoo, cybercrime, popularly known as Yahoo, is not a source of livelihood. And you cannot use one sin to erase another sin.
Okay.
Cybercrime is a sin. And you are now saying because you are earning illegally and is now pushing the rate of crime, reducing the rate of crime. It is not so, because Yahoo, this quick money syndrome, it's a very big problem, because people are not longer interested in learning things, taking time to be processed. They're not taking time to want to know what is expected of them. All they are after is, let me make it now. So it is, in fact, Yahoo is a very big problem and a serious challenge to our society today. Because when a child does not know what is money, and you earn money illegally, you won't know the value of money, and you wouldn't even know what to do with the money. And mind you, the victim which you have defrauded is also passing through a lot. Sometimes it leads to depression, and it causes death in sometimes. And also, you have money, you don't know the value of the money, no proper planning. Before you know, you go into crime, into drugs. Yeah. And we all know drugs is the mother of all crime. Once you begin, because you have the money, you begin to resort yourself in drugs taking. Before you know, it becomes a very big problem. Tomorrow the money is finished, what would you do? And you are still under the influence of drugs. And once you are under the influence of drugs, you don't think normal again as a normal human being. And you begin to go into things that are beyond a normal human being imaginations. Before you know, they begin to go into theft, different crime groups, resulting to other violence crimes in our society. So it is very important we teach the youth, not only the youth, adults, everybody, what is expected of an average human being. Going through the process, earning legitimately, earning and learning what is life, it is so important in our today's society. It will not only reduce the workload of the security agencies, it will also give you peace of mind and a long time, source of livelihood to ourselves. And as I earlier said, the cyberspace, the tech, it is so big that even if all of us go into it, we won't even jam pack ourselves in the cyberspace. As a computer scientist that I am, I know the benefits of tech. And by the special grace of God, we are using what we know how to do. We are using all we've learned in making sure that policing in Nigeria and policing in Bayelsa State becomes very efficient to every Bayelsans and residents in Bayelsa State.
DSP Musa, if you were to place on the scale of 1 to 10 the security, how secure we are in Bayelsa State, what would the number be?
This is an opportunity to reassure Bayelsans that not only Bayelsans, all citizens in Bayelsa State, that Bayelsa State is one of the most peaceful states in the Niger Delta corridor. There is no doubt about it. Whatever challenges, we always surmount it.
What are you doing to ensure the security you've talked about?
In security business, there's what we call collaboration. We don't do it alone. It's a collective responsibility. The citizens are not left behind. Security agencies are not left behind. Other stakeholders like the traditional rulers, paramount rulers, the youth groups, the women groups, the other CBOs is as a result of joint responsibility. That is what we're enjoying in Bayelsa State. And also the state government taking security as a top responsibility to guarantee the safety of their residents. I don't think there is something much more important than security that we
I know you're not spokesman for the government, but when you say they take security and ensure that their residents are secure, what exactly would you point to that gives you such confidence to say that?
You know, if I wouldn't want to talk from the government side as the spokesperson of the police. You know, when you see coordinations among security agencies, what does it tell us? It tells that the government owns responsibility in coordinating this security that we are enjoying in the state. And mind you, in the state, the governor is the chief security officer, and also a member of the police council of what's it called again? He's a member of the I've forgotten it. I'll remember. I'll remember. So it is his own responsibility to supervise his men, to supervise the stakeholders, to ensure that the state is peaceful, so that development can continue.
So what will you say about because obviously we've been seeing a lot of videos online about police and citizens, and most of the times they say the police, they harass citizens without any... So what will you say about... We would like to know, like me personally, I would like to know what my right is. Okay. Especially when I'm on the road, when I'm driving, so that I will not feel like I'm being harassed by anybody. So I would like you to tell us about that.
Number one key thing is education. Education, they say no knowledge is a waste. That is why, even as a citizen, the Police Act and Regulations books are sold everywhere. The Nigerian Constitution, as amended 1999, these books are everywhere. Even the Road Traffic Act, these are books you can get everywhere. Sometimes I encourage people to buy these books, read them to know your rights, so that whenever you encounter any situation on the road, you'll be able to express yourself in a polite manner. You understand? And all over the world, there is no perfect society. What we do is to address situations that would discomfort our citizens. That is why in the Bayelsa State Command, we have various mechanisms which we can address some challenges between the police and members of the public. And among them, which we have the X Squad. It's an internal arm that is in charge and responsible for discipline officers among the system, in the system. And also we have the provost. We have the police, the Public Complaint Bureau. This particular one is under my supervision through the Commissioner of Police. So these are various channels which concerns can be addressed when citizens are aware that we have things like this. I encourage them to take advantage of it instead of keeping quiet, because the next person could suffer because somebody who doesn't have idea or knowledge of this, it becomes a very difficult problem.
So if I have an encounter with a policeman, is it my right to make video of that situation? Because obviously this video has been very helpful to a lot of people, because it would have been maybe other case if they were not evidence. But in the other hand, they said it's not right to make videos of a policeman trying to do his work. So is it my right to make videos when there's an encounter with a policeman?
The thing is, every policeman is expected to act professionally. You are a public servant. There is one thing I enjoy the most about the management team of the Nigerian Police Force is accountability. The Inspector General of Police and his management team are so like, I don't know what to describe them. They are so modern. They are leaders who encourage accountability among formations across the country. You see, it is not a crime for a citizen to video a police officer.
Okay.
But the Nigerian police force is ours. You shouldn't do something to ridicule the system. You shouldn't do something because it is your right to video an officer on duty to begin to ridicule a person serving the public. It is so uncalled for. Most things we see online today is even before some persons encounter a policeman at a checkpoint.
They start making videos.
There is one psychology or mentality to say that they have already decided in their mind what would happen. A policeman stop you, bring your particular, you begin to record the policeman. It is so funny.
Okay.
So I encourage people to also assist the police, because the Nigerian police force is our police force.
Okay, so many would say this is a result, a consequence of stereotyping, and it's not happening one way, it's happening both ways. Now we're talking about how one ought not to video a police officer when they see them doing their duty on the road. Yet again, there are those who believe that when a police officer sees one who has dread on, or one who's driving Benz, one who has tattoos visible, it somehow just makes them think this is likely one that have maybe an exhibit. And so they want to move in and check them. So it's a stereotype that's probably going around. How do we address this? Not just for the person who is probably scared that the police officer wants to harass me, and so he wants to get everything recorded. Also for the policeman who thinks that every other person who's dressing in a certain way he considers morally wrong. Not legally wrong, because, it's dressing, right?
Yeah.
Who does he harm? But yeah, dressing in a way he considers morally wrong. Or is there a sort of standard procedure that the police considers to be morally wrong? Is this like a profiling set of rules that the police has got? That if you see someone who's wearing rag jeans or one who's on dreadlocks, they are likely, or who has Benz, you should question to know that whether they are Yahoo boys, or is that like standard operating procedure for the police?
Okay, every policeman is trained to detect crime. I, as a policeman, I am trained to suspect you. If I don't suspect you, there won't be any means to detect a crime. It is only when you have the training of a police officer you will know how to detect a crime. And it's so funny, sometimes there are cases of such. But dressing is only a lifestyle and fashion. It is not, police officers are not expected to stereotype anybody, but to suspect beyond reasonable doubt in course of their duty. If there's any need to suspect anything, a person, of course, the proper procedures will be taken.
Is that something you want to reveal? What's your standard profiling procedure? If you see a vehicle, maybe we should just know this. And
okay, for example, I'll give a practical example. I'll give a practical example. Maybe in a moving vehicle, and you see two young boys or 3 young boys and a female in the vehicle. As a policeman, you should be able to suspect and to go further to question. Ask questions to know. Sometimes some people might be kidnapped or frightened. They may be kidnapped. And of course, maybe they approach a checkpoint. The victim must have been threatened not to utter a word. But as a trained police officer, if somebody is under such situation, something would prompt you to make further inquiry. And before you know, truth will come out. We've recorded successes of such. So it is not about a policeman stopping you on the road and just you conclude that you've committed a crime. You've not committed a crime.
Do you agree that many persons think that police officers tend to stop a lot of Benz drivers? Do you agree, or that's something you don't?
If you drive Benz on the road, it's not a problem. It is your car.
But do you agree that...
If only as a vehicle owner, you have all the papers of your vehicle, I don't think you should be scared of something, except you are hiding something from the police. And we all know some of these young boys, you see them going about with illicit drugs. And that is why before they approach a police checkpoint, they're already afraid. They have already decided what the police will do. So they begin to send false narratives to the public space that a policeman is harassing them. But have you asked yourself, what did you do?
PPRO, is it no time for the police to have like a small camera In the West, they have like a camera that they typically would wear that shows every other thing they do once they stop the vehicle. Maybe that allows, and that's something that it sends a feed straight up, either records on its own or it sends a feed to their servers. So when one sees, I mean, recently, I'm saying this because recently a video surfaced online showing a police officer recording somebody he wants to search. Please, sir, come down, he was saying to the person, sir, come down, let me search you. The person was also videoing, himself was videoing. But then, what I'm trying to highlight is, if the police would video themselves doing all of these things, maybe there would be more trust, because it seems as though there is dwindling trust in the police. Do you not think so?
You know, there is a lot of reforms going on at the moment from the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, the President. A lot of reforms in the police system. And of course, we are gradually going somewhere positive. And in Bayelsa here, what we do, we have our CCTV cameras and our drones scattered all over the state. And among the locations of some of our cameras, they are strategically positioned even at our checkpoint, not only to get footages of road users, but as well to watch over our men, the conduct of our men. So many people don't know about this. Our cameras are there watching our men. If there's cause for any review, of course, forensic analysis will go in, and there will detect the DNA of such of the footage to review and to, you know, for discipline to take its course.
Okay. Well,
so I don't think
let's be hopeful that the review, I mean, that's going on to ensure that we have better policing nationwide. Let's be hopeful that it includes some of these things we've suggested here. So on the CCTV you mentioned, I'm sorry I'm drawing our attention to this, but I think it's something that's rather important to see. There are people who have fears. If you maybe call an average tricycle operator out there, he's likely to tell you that the police on our streets and highways or wherever, there is a culture of collecting little bit 100 naira. And you just mentioned here that the CCTV you have, you can observe your officers and know when there are people who have done misconduct. Have you been observing them?
You know, there used to be complaints and reports of extortion, but I can tell you confidently, such cases has drastically reduced in Bayelsa State. And we have close relationship with the leadership of these tricycle unions, their leadership. We have close relationship with them at the command, where every complaint are treated decisively. And you know, you said something about the collection extortion. It's not only
I call it collection of 100 naira. I don't want to use the extortion because it seems as though it's becoming a normal. Many would say so. No. Maybe the officer, the tricycle operators are willingly giving this these days.
I wanted to say something
in lieu of allowing for a search.
I wanted to add to what I have earlier said. You see, we are so impatient. You that gives has committed an offense. You force a law enforcement officer into committing another crime, and you also can be charged for such.
When you give and not report?
When you give money, you have also committed an offense. What was the essence of you giving the money? That means there is something you are trying to hide away from the police. I am telling you, we are so impatient. And in Bayelsa here, we have recorded, the level of such instance has drastically reduced.
Which means that there are pockets of that particular thing
has
happening.
Drastically reduced. We are not aware of any such, and if there is any, the command does not tolerate such kind of unprofessionalism from members of the police.
That's good to know.
So let's talk about the insecurity going on, not actually in Bayelsa, but in Nigeria per se. I'm talking about the bandits.
You know, we have to narrow it down to
Bayelsa.
Down to Bayelsa.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there because I'm
peaceful. Yes.
Yeah, no, that is where I'm heading to, because we have had a false alarm, I believe, at Obuna about this, and we saw school students running away, teachers running away. So I would like you to run us down through that information.
You see, that panic emanated from, generated from a social media post from one Facebook user named Senator Promise Etete, who posted that militants seized bandits demanded 50 million naira ransom in Bayelsa State, which generated widespread panic across Bayelsa State. And immediately we got the information. The Commissioner of Police, CP Yamadane Debo, quickly led operatives to the consigned environment. Bushes were combed, the CP visited schools and met students writing WAEC exam, and also visited some other schools and its environment within Polako and Sagbama areas in Bayelsa State. And of course, upon painstaking investigation, a forensic investigation was inducted, and that led to the arrest of this Facebook user. And as we speak, investigation is ongoing, and I believe by now he would have been arraigned in the court. And this is just to pass a very important information, that false information is an offense under the Cybercrime Act of Nigeria. It can cause panic that could lead to heart attacks and other severe health issues, because to cause such kind of panic, it is so dangerous. It is so dangerous. And Bayelsa State is relatively calm till now and tomorrow, and continuously by the special grace of God.
Well, you said he originated this, the Simon Etete, student in Akwa Ibom, an executive, I think, in Akwa Ibom. Yeah.
When he was interrogated, it's so funny. It's so funny.
Okay.
He said he posted it. He didn't know that it was not true. It is not everything you post to get followers or to get engagement on social media.
Was he the originator of that post?
He was the originator of the post.
He accepted that he was the originator?
Yes. He was the originator of the post. This is to send...
But how does one originate a post and he's not certain that thing is true? I mean,
that is what most of our young persons are doing these days, all in the name of to gain engagement on the social media platforms, causing a lot of panic, passing on false information across platforms to gain, I don't know, causing...
But he's a suspect, right? So let's act like, I mean, a suspect could either be guilty or not guilty. I mean, the court would have to decide that. But is there a possibility that he merely shared a post that he saw on social media? Is there any provision of the law that allows for him to maybe just go with just a tap, tap by the law to say, go and don't do this again, go and don't sin again,
that
if he maybe just saw it and then decided to share everybody, every other user,
maybe any forgiveness space for him.
Is there any possibility that he just goes with a tap?
When you go by the Cybercrime Act, the definition are clearly spelled out. Anything capable of causing panic, false stories, it is an offense under the Cybercrime Act of Nigeria. The intention, what was his intention of sharing such false information? Did he think what could be the consequences or the dangers of the panic which he has sent across? Children were running, parents rushing to schools to withdraw their children. Some even broke legs. Did he imagine what his post has caused in some areas of Bayelsa State? But we are happy. The police was very proactive. In less than 10 minutes, the CP led operatives and law and order was restored in those environs.
Okay, PPR, there are many persons that would say that there seems to be a growing lawlessness amongst the people of Nigeria. Bayelsa is no exception, being one of the constituent states of the country, Nigeria. There seems to be a growing lawlessness. People who think that they can easily do something and, well,
get
away with it, do something, and even when they are caught, apprehended, and taken to the police, nothing really happens. Recently, a story broke, one who wanted to, burn another person who's been stealing. Many would say it's because there seems to be inaction when that person who's stolen something goes into the police system and is supposed to be trying in court and all of those. Yet there are those also who would engage and indulge in vandalism. I'm referring to vandalism again. Many would say when they when they are arrested, they're released in is it 2 days or so? Well, typically the time when the police is allowed by law to hold the suspect. Yet again, there are those who also say that people who perpetuate insecurity in farmlands, they're not of any ethnicity, no, but those who are headers and who perpetuate insecurity in farmlands, there are those who believe that when they are caught and apprehended by the hunters or the security operatives and then taken to the police, they don't quite see the prosecution of these persons. So there is now a growing lawlessness with people thinking that even if I catch and go, police will release them after a while. What is the problem with prosecution and seeing people put behind bars for crimes they've committed? What's the problem there? Why do we see this lawlessness as a function of all these things I've mentioned? Esther?
Sometimes some of the challenges we as police we face in prosecuting some cases in court. Sometimes when a suspect is arrested and brought to the police, sometimes witnesses refuses to come to give their statement. It becomes a challenge to us. And okay, let's say it's a case of commissioner versus state. Even if a matter of such is being charged to court without a statement from a witness or a complainant, we all know how the litigation process works. It is as empty as nothing. You understand? It becomes a challenge. And why the other one? Upon a comprehensive investigation by the Nigerian police force and cases are charged to court, it is now the responsibility of the court to look at these matters and to give judgment to the matter, not to the Nigerian police force anymore. Ours is to investigate and charge to court.
So are we saying now that the police prosecutors are not quite doing, because we see less I mean, we don't see enough persons who are being put behind bars for certain crimes. Okay, for instance, a person who burnt another person is being talked about today. The crimes committed by that person is not being talked about. The person who burnt another person has been arrested, but the person who was repeatedly stolen from, he's the one who's been arrested. The one who has been carrying out the stealing is not arrested. Is there justice in this?
Okay, let me say something about this. It's a recent matter which we are currently investigating at the command, where a young man alleged to have set another man, a young man, at blaze.
Yeah.
With fuel and a lighter. We thank God for the swift information where the DPO Otiokoti swung into action and arrested the suspect, the man that set the other man at blaze. Now, which one is more critical at this moment?
Oh.
This setting someone ablaze is an attempted murder. You see, when you weigh these allegations, you see that one is more bigger than the other. You that was about taking someone else's life. And thank God the man was taken to the hospital and is currently taking medication, treatment, and is alive. It is upon investigation, the police will further unravel many circumstances surrounding this particular matter, and then they will be charged to court, and in the court there will know what will be the fate of the both of them, because the person that sets the other one at blaze alleged, because the both of them are allegedly. If I have not gotten facts from the other person, because I'm not the investigating police officer, but you that have the intention, that had it in mind, you tied somebody's hands, you poured fuel, and you light the person ablaze. That means you had the intention of taking the person's life. It is so unfortunate. You taking laws into your hands. That is why we speak against jungle justice, because sometimes people, victims of jungle justice, sometimes are not truly have not truly done something wrong, have not been involved in what they were alleged. Sometimes two people may be having issues, and before you know, the other person may frame the other person up, and people will mob the other person.
DPRO, how do we improve on citizens and indigenous of Bayelsa, Nigeria at large, obeying the law, reduce the lawlessness that many have seen prevalent? I mean, I should not be saying many have seen prevalent. We are discussing its prevalence here because I cited instances of people taking laws into their own hands. How do we reduce this lawlessness? I'd like to even ask, this year or in the past 2 years, the police, are you all actively sending people to Okaka, or is Okaka full? Is it overrun? So we can start doing agitation or advocacy for a building of a new correctional facility, as you like to call it.
You see, it's not only about sending people to Okaka prison. Even in the judicial system, they encourage ADR, alternative dispute resolution, for some cases.
Civil cases, no?
Yeah. Mostly civil cases.
Have we brought ADR into
No. Criminal offenses are not part of, are not things we should even bargain with.
Okay.
You understand? And of course, there are prosecutions of recent. There are records of prosecutions of suspects, of criminal suspects. So it is there, and the command is not relenting. We'll continue to do all our best to ensure that Bayelsa State is not a place where criminals hibernate.
What's your advice when people go on the road and they are driving or doing something, and then they meet an officer who's telling them, give me something, or who's telling them, if you don't give me something, you know, go. What's your advice?
Our advice, Bayelsans, our advice the general public, not to give.
Okay.
Because they are there to serve. We are there to serve, not to do something different from a security business. We are there to give buffet to our citizens.
What about the issue of phone? Because most times when you go on the road, the police, they instead of maybe searching or doing what they are supposed to do, they ask for your phone and begin to search. I don't know what they like searching inside the phone, and you see this in most times it causes a lot of chaos and problems between the police and the individual or citizen. So I would like to know if it is right for a policeman without proper, what would they call it, instructions to search phones.
A police officer is not would not search a phone, and if they do, it is wrong, and except for some circumstance. If you are under investigation and there is need to gather an inquiry, a police officer would have the right to search your phone.
When they meet you, like
On the road?
Not just on the road.
So
on the road,
you're saying categorically that there is no pretext under which a police officer decides to check my phone.
No.
Because I
You'd have
believe
to take me to the office.
yes, because I believe you are under a proper
except
investigation.
you are under investigation that will warrant the officer to inquire or to gain access to your phone upon suspicious inquiry when you are under investigation.
At the roadside, or?
Not at the roadside, at the office.
Thank
Of
you.
course, investigation. There must be
was what I was
something
about
that
to
would
say.
lead to
Yeah.
investigation. When there's a complaint, an investigation
You should
needs
be
to
invited
be
to be
inducted.
investigated.
Of course, it would.
Okay, there are still concerns in several corners that certain things we call insecurity that would happen because the police does not have, enough. Sometimes we say funding. Is the police underfunded? Would you say that?
You say?
Is the police underfunded or understaffed? Would you say that?
We thank God the police is funded, and challenges, of course, there are challenges, but the Nigerian police force is funded. All we need,
But you could use better funding.
don't put words to my mouth. The thing is, we are funded. Joke apart, we are funded, and we encourage, we want more to effectively police Nigeria.
Why I had asked that is, when many persons take cases to the police. I'm sorry I'm coming, I think they would say really hard, but we need answers. We really need answers. I, for one, need answers. I've not exactly been a victim, but I know that, there are people who are still in the police, but then might be rogue, might be lawless. In every sphere, there is a bad egg. There are very good officers in the police, and I like to think that there are more good officers in the police than we have bad ones. But then, typically, we know that there are people who are bad. We've been seeing instances of somebody who shot another in Delta State and all of that. Yeah, but is it possible that the police? I've now lost my trail of thought. But yeah, I was on the police being underfunded and being understaffed. If you're clamoring for the police to have more funds, do you not think that it will just make for people who come to you with case to have their cases solved? Because in most cases, they say that when they bring cases to you, you have them pay something. If you don't have money to prosecute your case, then your case will just lay ducks and no solution. You don't get results for what you have taken to the police. So it has to be you bringing more money. Okay, now, I tell you this as one who had one time taken a matter to the police, and I also was made to pay certain money. I paid at first, and then it continued again. I needed to bring some more, but man, I'm a poor boy. So at some point I had to let me forgo the matter. I forgave, because I did not have. Now, I forgave because I did not have the means to continue the prosecution. And clearly, I don't blame the police either, because many say that they also do not have the resources. The resources are slim. That's why I would want for you to, before you were a police officer, you were a Nigerian.
Of course.
Right. And so it is the betterment of Nigeria at the end of the day, right? This would not be jinxing your work as a PPRO. It would not be jinxing your work as a police officer, but it would be telling, do you ever tell truth to power?
The thing is, the Nigerian police force is funded by the government of Nigeria. And we want more funding. The police force, the Nigerian police force, of course. This uniform I'm wearing today,
They give it to you.
I was issued by the management.
One uniform.
No, I have several uniforms.
That's-
I will
that's-
invite you to my office to see my uniform.
Is it
If
the
you
same
see
thing
my
for
wardrobes.
all officers, for all men?
you know-
rank and file?
Yes, officers are issued uniforms, accoutrements. All we want is more support as a morale booster to the men. The government of Nigeria are doing their best, and we are trying our best also to ensure we also improve in our service delivery to Nigerians.
Do you think you probably would need bikes in doing your security work?
You know, different environment deserves different approach of to policing.
Listen, yeah.
If you're working in the creeks and you want bikes, I think you're making a wrong choice. If you're policing the creeks, you rather request for boats and other marine equipment.
I mean, within Yenagoa, there are no creeks out there.
Yeah, of
within Yenagoa, but it's typically there are
other remote villages are
Yeah.
part of Bayelsa State, and our policing did not just stop in Yenagua. We have divisions, outposts across states.
So bikes are not exactly very necessary.
To say, you know, anything that would affect positively to security business is, if there's need, I think it will be good.
It's good for bikes too. I mean, I had asked this because I know that from time to time, whenever we hear the state government doing something for the police, they usually will give vehicles. I don't know, vehicles, and sometimes we see bikes. But in actual crime fighting, I can't remember if I've seen a police bike other than the one that is cost the governor and deputy governor. I don't know if the deputy governor is included, but I have not seen a police bike that's trying to catch a criminal. I don't know if it's maybe sent to the hinterlands where, I mean, I'm within Yenagua. Even as a journalist, I sometimes go to the hinterlands, but yeah.
We have our patrol vans. We have the modern technology.
Any bike? Do you have any bike?
We have bike.
You have bikes?
But we do more of the patrol
Vans
and the drones. There are some areas which bikes cannot go, the swampy areas. Bikes cannot reach, but our drones can go there. There will be our first responders, while our men on ground with the vans will take lead.
The bikes, do they wear the typical police uniform or they are in mufti?
We have
the bikes branded.
You know, we have intelligence units. These units are undercovers. Even when they go about their normal lawful activities, you wouldn't know if they are police officers. So there are some things that I cannot say on live. These it could be threats to security business. So this is to tell us it is not about bike, but it's about policing the state.
Yeah, it is. Effective policing of the state.
Exactly.
Well, we've done a stretch already on the interview. Corruption in Nigeria. Police, you're doing a very fine job. But is there ways you could propose here, suggest here, to effectively eliminate corruption? Is that ever possible in Nigeria? I mean, you would agree that it's corruption in Nigeria.
First of all, you define what you mean by corruption. Huh? And to define what is corruption. And also, I see people painting the Nigerian police force. I'll come back to your question. I'll see people painting the Nigerian police force.
Painting?
Yeah, painting the Nigerian police force of several names. You know, the Nigerian police force is one of the police force that is more accountable in Nigeria as we speak.
Okay. I mean, there's one police force in Nigeria now.
Yes.
One of the forces, you would say. Yeah, I understand.
It is. I wouldn't want to go into left or right.
Accountability.
Of course.
Do you do like transparency briefing every month, like the state governments? I mean, when we talk about accountability, let's scale it.
Our activities are in the public domain. We parade, we audit our records, we audit ourselves, we audit every activities in the Nigerian police force. And even officers, we audit our officers. If an officer is alleged of something, of course, we've seen in the media spaces where officers are being paraded for several disciplinary concerns. So to say Nigerian police force is one of the most accountable organizations in Nigeria.
Yeah, but do you believe maybe that's this corruption that touches on the legislature, executive, judiciary, that's probably also touched on the police?
I don't have comment for that.
It's all right. Thank you so much, DSP Musa Mohammed.
Thank you for having me on your program.
Great.
Thank you.
We are Bayelsans and Nigerians. If we continue with this interview, there are 1,001 questions more to ask of you. Well, I would leave that for
next time.
Meetings with you, and hopefully that you will indulge us as much as you have done so today. We cannot thank you enough for coming.
Thank you for coming. Thank you so much.
My name is Henry. We've had DSP Musa Mohammed, the Police Public Relations Officer by Bayelsa State Police Command, and also I have had with me doing this interview, the Ayo of Yen Town. Until the next episode, have a nice day.
Thank you, guys.